Well, 80% of you who are watching this video haven't subscribed to our channel. If you are going to subscribe to this channel, then your name will be shortlisted from today till the end of March for a giveaway. Not one, but 3 of them. Now, the first one is an iPhone 12, the second one is a Samsung phone, and the third one is a Casio watch. Subscribe to this channel, I'll pick up 3 winners, and then of course I'll courier all these 3 things to you. Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope all of you are doing well and are safe with your families at home. Well, today's thumbnail might look a little clickbaity to you, might feel that I've done it just for clickbaits, but to be honest, the Hyundai Creta and the Honda City both start from about 10 lakh rupees, and their mid-spec versions are pretty much the same in terms of pricing. So in terms of pricing, both cars are at par with each other, but which one should you invest in? That's the big question. A lot of you ask me on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as on Facebook, and if you don't follow me there, do follow me there. My handle on Twitter as well as Instagram is AshishMasi1, and on Facebook it's AshishMasi Cars. So do follow me there, and I can help you out with your buying decisions. Budmo, as you might be aware by now, is the online expert in terms of spare parts. If you want a spare part for your vehicle, they have it in their list. They have the most extensive spare parts catalog, right from the most affordable small car to the top of the line luxury car, you name the car, and they have the spare parts for it. And the best point is that they have the spare parts from a host of different component makers and different price segments for the same spare part. So if you want to buy a cheaper part from a different maker or a more expensive part from a different component maker, they have the option for you. And they also promise you 10 days assured return without any hassle. If you don't like the spare part, you can send it back and they'll return all the money to you in the first 10 days. So budmo.com is the name of the website. You can check them out on your iOS as well as Android devices as well. Well, so talking about the Honda City and comparing it with the Creta, the first thing that you like about this cabin is that the quality is pretty good, and in terms of the overall ambience, I think it's really neck and neck between both these cars. Both these cars are from different segments, so you have to take it as that. In terms of features, this is also a connected car. You get the Alexa app as well, which means that you can use your voice commands to use a lot of functions on this car. And again, in terms of the seat comfort, both these cars are very close to each other. I reckon that the seats on the Honda City are slightly better in terms of outright comfort compared to the Hyundai Creta, but they miss out on a very key function and a key feature that the Creta offers, and that is cool front seats. So that is something that Creta has, and it's an advantage. Also, with the front seats of the Hyundai Creta, and compared this car with the City, I reckon that the overall quality levels of the Creta are definitely half a step ahead of the City. In terms of the consistency, the cabin feels more consistent, and definitely it feels half a step ahead. It's not a big gap, but in terms of the perception levels, the perceived quality levels, this car offers you slightly better quality. In terms of features, well, both these cars are very close to each other. There's hardly any difference between them. And the big advantage, of course, this car has is that you get cool front seats. That's a big advantage, and I reckon that in terms of seat comfort, these seats are slightly behind the City, but because they come with this cool front seat feature, I reckon that the advantage again comes in the Creta's corner. Overall, which covers the battle of the front end, well, I reckon that it's really neck and neck, and I really can't call out which one has the advantage. I reckon it's a tie between both these cars in the front end of the cabin. Now let's jump in the back seat and figure out which one has the advantage. Well, so I'm in the back seat now of the Hyundai Creta. In terms of the space, well, I reckon both these cars are neck and neck, and it's hardly any difference between this one and the City. The big advantage this car has is that it gets a Bose sound system, which offers you very clear sound. And if you're someone who enjoys listening to music, then you'll appreciate this system. What you'll also like, if you travel with your entire family, is this huge panoramic sunroof. And if you're sitting here with your kids and your wife, then this is something that you'll truly appreciate, especially in the evening. When you open it up, you also get an air purifier inside this car, which the City does not offer, and a couple of AC vents here, USB port for charging your phones, and a big tray where you can keep your phones as well as wallets. In terms of space, in terms of overall comfort, it's almost identical, but I reckon that the overall cushioning and the seat comfort in the City is slightly ahead by half a point. It's not a big jump up. This is 19.5 out of 20, and that is 19.75 out of 20 in terms of the seat comfort. Which one do you prefer? You let me know in the comments below, because in this one you sit up a lot higher and that one you sit a lot lower. So what do you prefer? You can let me know in the comment section. In my book, I reckon that the Hyundai Creta has a slight advantage. Well, so sitting in the back seat now of the Honda City, in terms of the leg room, I reckon that both these cars are neck and neck. It's hard to choose which one offers you more leg room. And also, in terms of seat comfort, again, both these cars are very similar to each other. I reckon that the City has a slight advantage, a very small advantage in terms of the comfort at the back, but really it is on what you like and what you want, because you sit lower in the City and you sit much higher up in the Creta. So again, in terms of the back seat experience, I reckon it's a very close call. Well, so in terms of the boot comparison, the Creta in itself is quite sufficient. It's about 435 litres, which is good enough. And for your weekend getaways, for your shopping trips to Big Bazaar, as well as for buying that AC and putting it in a carton, this boot should do more than well. But because we're comparing these cars and it's an ultimate comparison, the City has the advantage in the boot department. This one doesn't have any loading lip, so to say, off, which is a big advantage. So you can just slide in the stuff and take it out without any fuss whatsoever. But yes, because it is a slightly smaller boot, I reckon the City has the ultimate advantage, but this one also isn't bad in isolation. Well, so talking about the boot on the Honda City, it's an easy win. This one wins the battle of the boot compared to the Hyundai Creta. This one is around 5 litres and that is about 435 litres. So clearly the winner is the City, and I don't have to really, it's a nice and spacious boot, or how big it is for my mother-in-law to dump her luggage in, because the City is the clear winner. Well, so here I am driving the Honda City. Now, compared to the Creta, this car comes with the same 1.5 litre engine that one comes. In terms of capacity, it's the same, but this one makes lesser power. This makes about 100 bhp of power, which is about 15 bhp lower than the Creta, but it's also a lighter car, so that's something which is quite okay. Now, in terms of refinement, this new version of the City is a little more refined than the outgoing car, the older version of the car, but that said, it still isn't as close to the Creta, which is a very good car in terms of refinement. In fact, Hyundai CRDI diesel engines are the best in the business for sheer refinement. That's something that all of us agree on. In terms of the overall driving bits, well, it's an engine which needs to be revved a little bit. It's a little lazy to respond to throttle inputs from below 1800 RPM. So after 1800 RPM, it becomes nice and alert and really does deliver great power all the way up to about 3,500-4,000 RPM. And sometimes if you're on the highway and want that mid-range punch, then you'll have to use the gearbox judicially to get the best out of it. But that's not a problem, because the gearbox in itself is very nice and very sporty, and it's at par with the gearbox of the Creta. You can't really pick and choose which one is better, because both of them are nice and easy to operate. They have accurate throws and they don't need a heavy hand to shift as well. Now, one area where the City has a slight advantage over the Creta is at slow city speeds. I reckon that this car has a slight advantage at slow city. At faster speeds, both these cars are nearly identical in terms of the rock solid nature, in terms of confidence, as well as the overall comfort. But at slow city speeds, I think the City has a slight advantage. It's not a big advantage, but definitely a small advantage that this car holds. Well, what do you think? Am I right in my assessment today? Do let me know in the comment section below. In terms of overall fuel efficiency as well, this car offers you slightly better efficiency than the Creta does. In terms of agility also, this is a slightly better car. It has to be, because it's a sedan, not an SUV. So you sit up slightly lower, and the steering wheel also is slightly more accurate than it is on the Creta. So overall, in terms of refinement, the Creta has the clear advantage. But in terms of fuel economy, as well as overall drive involvement, as well as a sharper steering wheel, the Honda City also is quite good. But which one do you reckon wins the battle of the driving bits? Well, I reckon that because that's a more refined car, the more powerful car, it has a slight advantage overall, and I'll give the Creta a score of 90 out of 100, while the City gets 89 in the driving department. What do you reckon? Am I correct in my assessment? Do let me know in the comments section below, and thanks so much for watching this video. Well, so here I am driving the Hyundai Creta now. Now remember, this car comes with a 1500cc diesel engine. Today we're comparing the diesels, not the petrols. And this diesel engine makes more power than the one on the city. It makes about 115 bhp. But where the big difference lies is in the refinement. Yes, the refinement on the Creta is absolutely very good and definitely ahead of the city. What you'll also like about this car is the fact that this car's suspension errs on the side of comfort. So in terms of the comfort, it definitely feels a little more comfortable and it offers you a supple ride. In terms of driving also, because you sit up high, you get a nice good view of the road ahead. The gearbox is nice and crisp to operate, it's very accurate, and the clutch also offers you a nice and springy action. So in all those departments, the Creta definitely feels quite good. What you'll also like on this car is the visibility all across is excellent and definitely ahead of the city. As I said, because you sit up quite high, you like the view ahead because you can see 3 or 4 cars further down. The side view mirrors also offer you a good view, and the window and the glass also here is quite good, so you can see quite a lot at the back.